Your boy Brasstax is back. And what a time to be back. Tenet. Yeah? If you're going to come back, you come back with a bang, baby. Anyway, look. I've not disappeared. I've not given up on YouTube, as Shane from Spirit Change will have you believe, okay? I just took a break. I just had a couple of other things going on that I needed to sort out. And, you know, to be honest, I was just enjoying the OLED, my new TV and stuff. I know there's a overdue review on it. And to be honest, I'm glad I didn't review it when I wanted to, because there have been some teething problems with this TV. This is my second panel. We're going to get to that in the review anyway, somewhere down the line. Still haven't decided 100% what I'm going to do, but you'll understand when you get my review on the OLED. But it is spectacular, don't get it twisted. It's still the most fully featured TV on the planet today. But we're not here for that, we're here for Tenet. And I had a chance to watch it in the theater when it got released, and I had a really good time watching it. It's one of those movies you can't really go and take a bathroom break for, you know, because you'll come back and you'll miss something important. You miss something crucial, you know. But that's one of the things I love about the movie. Now, I did review this when I saw it in the cinema, and I've got a video up here, so if you want to see that review, click it. But I just want to retread on certain things, because I've watched it now the second time, and it's one of those movies that once you've seen everything unfold the first time, you go back and there's little, what do I want to call them? There's little treats for you when you watch it again. You'll be like, okay, that makes more sense now. This makes more sense. So it's one of those movies you're definitely going to have to watch repeatedly. And the good thing about it is it's not boring. So that's always a plus. To me, Robert Pattinson just steals the show. I mean, I saw him in Twilight, like all of you guys, and I thought that was his range. Boy, was I wrong. Really good in this movie. And I absolutely loved John David Washington in Ballers. It's one of my favorite TV shows. And to see him in Black Klansman and then in this, really, really gifted actor, man. He's going to follow in his dad's footsteps. Maybe not as iconic, but he's going to be great. And he does have some Denzelisms about him. There's certain movies that you watch in the theater where you can't wait to watch them at home. You know, because it's like, this is really going to pop. Because I do feel sometimes, people always say that the cinema is the best experience to watch something. But I think that's slowly changing, because people have got huge TVs these days with the Atmos setup and what have you. I think that's slowly changing. And you know what's going on with HBO Max now? I mean, you know, home cinema viewing is going to be the thing of the future. I think cinemas are dead as we know them, which is a real shame. But yeah, I couldn't wait to watch this. Just to see the special effects again, I mean, that's a masterclass right there. I mean, there are some special effects in this movie I've never seen before. And if you guys have seen this movie, you know exactly what I mean. Now, before we do the review and get into the visual fidelity of this 4K transfer, a couple of things. Firstly, now a lot of you people are subscribed to me, which I appreciate. And if you haven't subscribed to me, you better do that right now. I get a lot of people inboxing me complaining that they don't get any notifications when I upload stuff. And that's primarily because you need to go under the subscribe section, hit that notification icon, that bell, and put it to all, so you get all the juicy Brasstax goodness, baby. And secondly, I think that you as viewers and you as consumers need to know what equipment I'm using to review this bad boy, okay? And that is a CX LG OLED, 77 inches. 77 inches, baby. And I got the flagship soundbar, the LG soundbar, you know, the big one, the SN11 or whatever it is. SN11RG or something that sounds like that with the rears upward firing. Let me tell you something about that soundbar. God damn. You switch that soundbar on and let me tell you something, panties drop quicker than you can click your fingers. It's crazy. But all that aside, let's get into the tech specs, okay? Brought to you by Warner Brothers. It's got a native 4K digital intermediate, so people rejoice. I know that's important to a lot of people. You've got Imax Scenes and you've got the black bars. And you know what it is? I think I've just come to the point, I've come to the realization that Christopher Nolan must be allergic to Dolby Atmos or DTS:X. I think so, because that's not on anything he has, right? We've got the DTS Master Audio 5.1. God damn, I mean, the sound was bad enough in the theater. What we're gonna get here, we're gonna find out anyway. HDR10, it's 150 minutes, so that's 2.5 hours of greatness. And thankfully, it's on a 100 gig disc. I think anything over about 2 hours and 15 minutes should be on a 100 gig disc, and I appreciate that. It's out December 15th, people. And the extra features are on the 1080p Blu-ray disc itself. Okay, I think there's a documentary on that. I didn't really check it out, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I did do a comparison between the two formats for you. So anyway, how's the transfer? Unfortunately, people, it has to be one of the worst transfers. I'm only playing, relax. It is a lovely looking transfer. Really tasty, very sexual, very alluring. It is a nice transfer, really nice. Now let me talk about the 1080p first. I thought that was a really good 1080p disc, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it looked very crispy, very clean. There was some good detail on that, but what this does, oh my god, it takes it up a few more levels. Opens up with the dark corridors of the opera house, right? And boy, will your blacks be tested. I'm telling you this because I've got an OLED and my blacks were tested, I ain't gonna lie to you. Great deep inky blacks from the offset. You see everyone masked up running, and even the pavement. Even the little stones on the pavement, the little cracks, the tiled floor when they're going in, guns blazing. Crazy. You'd think there'd be some softness when, you know, when everyone freezes, everyone collapses in the opera house. But you can see, like, I'm literally looking at the scene right now, you can see every individual person with amazing detail. The clarity is off the charts. You can see what each individual person is wearing. You can see how they're sitting. You can see how their hairstyle is. You can see some of these people wearing flannel. I ain't gonna lie to you. Who wears flannel in an opera house? That's what I want to know. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like the suits John Washington wears, like you can see textures on there. I definitely didn't see that on in the theater, right? And I remember watching it in the theater saying, oh, I'm gonna notice some stuff here that I didn't notice before. The suits look great, the textures are great, even linen on the tables, like even in the kitchen where he's beating the hell out of the guys, right? It's so much detail to be had there. Very clean looking movie overall. There's no grain in here. I don't know why I expected grain in this movie. I don't know why, but it's definitely not here. It's a very clean, three-dimensional image. Every image has depth in it. You got Kenneth Branagh chilling on the boat. You just see the sea, the ocean. It looks very picturesque. I mean, you could snapshot it and send a postcard. It looks that good. People, you're not going to be disappointed with this disc. We haven't even got to the Imax scenes yet. Let's touch on those. They're scattered throughout this movie, more so in the third act. So let me tell you something, the IMAX shots look absolutely superb. Do you guys remember the 4K disc of The Dark Knight? So the movie itself was pretty soft until you got to the IMAX scenes. You know, when it opens up in the city with the IMAX, you're just like, wow, I really wish the whole disc would look like that. But what you've got here is you've got the IMAX scenes, which look spectacular. They are on steroids, right? But the rest of the movie also looks so good. They all look part of the same movie, and that's what I love about this disc. The city shots, you got Pattinson and Washington traversing up the building in full screen IMAX looks absolutely panty jobbing, people. There's so many scenes like this scattered throughout the movie. Looks great. Now let's get to the HDR, the high dynamic range and the wider color gamut. Now as far as the brightest brights and the darkest darks, this movie overall is a step brighter than its 1080p counterpart. That being said, the blacks are very inky, very dark, and great detail and shadow detail within the dark scenes. Very, very nice indeed. As far as the brights, I never saw anything which was scorched earth. I never saw anything blinding, but they did have pop to them. Now, as far as the colors go themselves, the differences range from subtle to very obvious because there are tonal shifts throughout this movie. You've got some very cold looking scenes, and then you've got some very vibrant looking scenes. You've got scenes where Washington's at the dinner table and it's a very vibrant affair. The lighting looks better. The shade of the cars is different. The shade of the greens of the grass, especially the third act of the movie, is where colors really kick into gear. It's definitely a wider color at work here in the third act, especially when the car flips. Denzel's in the car and it flips and you see the glass go everywhere, the glass shatter, and as the glass is shattering, you're seeing specular highlights that weren't there on the 1080p Blu-ray. Explosions yield more of an impact because you're seeing more details in the flame. So it's a very nice step up from the 1080p, but it varies from amazing to slightly subtle in parts. Now, if Pattinson doesn't do it for your girl, and Washington doesn't do it for your girl, and the detail doesn't do it for your girl, and the IMAX doesn't do it for your girl, you tell your girl to sit on the woofer and see what happens. You know what's gonna happen? The coochie might just be dancing to the music, to the bass, because this is what this movie has a lot of, and that is bass. Now we know this isn't an Atmos, so it's not gonna have that Atmos flex, but it packs a punch for sure. Maybe even too much of a punch, because I'll tell you what, if you were expecting something different from the theater, because I know a lot of people complained that they couldn't make out the dialogue, guess what? You've got the same thing happening here. It's no different. Like, you're hearing all these sound effects around you, because it does have a very wide sound stage. You're hearing all of these effects, all of these explosions, all of the ambiance, everything else going on around you. But the problem is it's so overpowering at times. Even the music, and I love the music for this movie, so overpowering that you're gonna lean forward to try and hear some of the dialogue, exactly the same as it was in the theater. The convenience about watching at home is you can pause it, rewind it, and catch what you missed. It's kind of like they've got the dialogue in the center channel, but they've got everything else a little too high everywhere else. But that's not to say that it's not a bombastic, very detailed, very bassy audio track in this movie. You're going to appreciate the gunfire, you're going to appreciate the explosions, you're going to appreciate the track. The problem is it may be a tad too overpowering. And I do like the audio. I like it a lot more now because I can rewind it. Do you know what I mean? Your girl may just keel over on the speaker because the bass will just kill her. And you know, some of you guys stuck at home with your girls 24/7, you may just want that. But anyway, that's what it is, people. Look, in case you're wondering, this movie gets the brass tax seal of approval. Man, that means, for anyone who doesn't know, that means it's a top tier disc. I mean, we're talking into the 9s, and you need to pre-order this if you haven't already. I suspect most of you have, and if you haven't, I've left some Amazon links for you to go through. Guys, pick this up, it's a no-brainer. It looks absolutely fantastic. Panties will drop repeatedly. Every time you play this and a different girl comes into your house, guess what? Panties are gonna drop. And there we have it, people. Subscribe if you haven't. This review was long enough. Alright guys, you take care. I'ma catch you soon. 4K Rockstar, you already know.